Right. All right. We'll call the meeting to order at 6:50 on May 1st of the Oakland County Board of Commissioners. I'll ask the clerk to please call the roll.
Commissioners Cavell.
Here.
Erickson Galt.
Here.
Gershenson.
Here.
Gingell.
Here.
Hoffman.
Here.
Johnson. Johnson. Okay. Joliet.
Here.
Long.
Here.
Lubes.
Here.
Markham.
Here.
Miller. Nelson.
Here.
Powell. Smiley.
Here.
Smith Charles.
Present.
Spiz.
Present.
Taylor.
Where'd everybody go?
Taylor? No? Okay. Weipert?
Here.
Woodward?
Here.
Okay. Mr. Chair, you have a quorum.
Thank you very much. Is Commissioner Johnson here? Oh. Yes. Commissioner Powell's here. Tonight's, yes, they're here. Okay. Tonight's invocation is being led by Commissioner Brendan Johnson, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. Oh, she's here. She's here. Commissioner Johnson.
Hi, everyone. So I'm a good Catholic boy. I've got 15 years of Catholic education, Sisters of Charity, Marist Fathers, and then the Jesuits at Georgetown. And that order, my beloved Jesuit order, Society of Jesus, lost a pretty big member of their order this last week, Pope Francis, the first Jesuit pope. And I lost the leader of my church, too. And I know that he meant a lot to a lot of other people, too. But I wanted to start today with the peace prayer. It's commonly attributed to St. Francis. St. Francis didn't actually write it, but it's often known as the prayer of St. Francis. So if you join me in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Lord, make me an instrument of your peace. Where there is hatred, let me sow love. Where there is injury, pardon. Where there is doubt, faith. Where there is despair, hope. Where there is darkness, light. Where there is sadness, joy. O divine Master, grant that I may not so much seek to be consoled as to console, to be understood as to understand, to be loved as to love. For it is in giving that we receive, it is in pardoning that we are pardoned, and it is in dying that we are born to eternal life. Amen. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Johnson. Next up, we have approval of the minutes from our April 10th meeting. Is there a motion? Motion made by Commissioner Lubes, seconded by Commissioner Markham. Any discussion on the minutes? Seeing none, all in favor of approving the minutes, say aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay. Let the record reflect that the minutes have been approved unanimously. Next up is approval of the agenda, moved by Commissioner Smith Charles, seconded by Commissioner Taylor. Any discussion? Commissioner Hoffman.
Thank you, Chairman Woodward. I think there's a mistake on the consent agenda under legislative affairs. At our last meeting on April 22nd, resolution that I introduced was passed unanimously, and it should be on the consent agenda, and I don't see it.
The item that you're referring to has been kept off the agenda. This is an item that the board cannot just act independently, and in consultation, and requires the support of the executive office. The executive office hasn't researched the issue, and so we're postponing it to the next meeting.
So it will be on the next agenda?
Well, depending on what the executive support is, yes.
Okay, but I had this similar item 3 or 4 years ago, and there was never an issue. It came before the board. It was passed, I believe, unanimously, and I reintroduced it because we still have an issue with this gentleman who was wrongly convicted. And as I mentioned at the meeting, Senator Carl Levin was on board with this, and he fought to help this gentleman who's been in prison for 38 years. And again, it went to the committee, passed unanimously, should have gone right to the consent agenda. So you're saying the executive,
The executive is reviewing the item. It's an item that requires executive approval, and that's where things stand right now.
All right, well, this
All right.
happened on April 22nd. That was a couple weeks ago.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
Any further discussion on the agenda? Commissioner Spiz.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Maybe we take this offline, but I thought we were independent parts of government, and I believe the executive has veto power over something, so I don't understand why we're waiting for his approval prior to putting it on the board. I thought, we operate separately. We don't require approval of anything from the administration personally. That's why he has veto power, but just my 2 cents.
Thank you. All in favor of approving the agenda, say aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay. Let the record reflect that the agenda is approved. It'll move to presentations, and we have 3 presentations this evening. The first is a proclamation from, I'm sorry, I don't have it. Who's leading the, oh, thank you. I didn't know who it, all right, Commissioner Weipert. And Erickson Galt, the lawyers in the house.
The lawyers.
I apologize.
Good evening. As I mentioned, Commissioner Weipert and I are the resident attorneys on the commission, and both have a profound respect for the rule of law, and so we're bringing forth this proclamation. And joining us is Michelle Johnson from Legal Aid and Defenders Association to help celebrate Law Day. Whereas special observances such as Law Day remind us of the rights and privileges that make up the fabric of American civil life, and whereas annually every May 1st, Law Day celebrates the rule of law and provides an opportunity to understand how the legal process protects liberty, strives to achieve justice, and contributes to the freedoms that Americans share. Its origins date to 1957, when the American Bar Association President Charles Rinn first envisioned a day for celebrating the legal system. 1 year later, President Dwight D. Eisenhower established Law Day as a day of national dedication to the principles of government under the law, and in 1961, Congress designated May 1st as official day of observance.
And whereas this year, the 67th annual celebration, the theme, the Constitution's promise, out of many one, takes on an especially important meaning. As Americans, our civic lives connect us, whether it's through working together to fulfill promise of e pluribus unum, or out of many one, military service, or through legislative efforts for the sake of the common good. And whereas one such effort is ensuring legal assistance and resources are accessible to everyone, regardless of income, our nation's legal system is the cornerstone of our democracy, upholding the rule of law and ensuring justice for all. Legal Aid and Defender Association, LAD, is a nonprofit providing comprehensive civil legal services to Tri-County residents who cannot afford an attorney. With a history dating to 1909, LAD is the oldest provider of such services in the state.
Whereas with a shared dedication to homelessness prevention and eviction protection, Oakland County's Neighborhood Housing and Development Division leveraged $2 million in American Rescue Plan funding to work with qualified legal aid assistance organizations such as LAD, Lakeshore Legal Aid, and Oakland County Mediation Center Legal Aid in 2021. This successful intervention was designed to support residents experiencing crisis housing needs related to the pandemic, including eviction, foreclosure, and rent and utility bills. The work of these legal aid organizations, which often goes unnoticed, helped our most vulnerable neighbors here in Oakland County then and continues to do so today. And it was so successful, we just blew through the funding before the program was scheduled to be over. The need is that great. Whereas on the esteemed occasion of this annual observance, we join with our colleagues in the legal profession who uphold the rule of law and valiantly guard the American heritage of liberty, justice, and equality to celebrate Law Day. Now, therefore, David T. Woodward, Chair of the Oakland County Board of Commissioners, Commissioners Ann Erickson Galt and Philip J. Weipert, and the entire Oakland County Board of Commissioners do hereby proclaim May 1st as Law Day in Oakland County. And I'd like to turn it over to Michelle because she has a few words to say.
First of all, Commissioner Erickson Galt and Commissioner Weipert, thank you so much. Board of Commissioners, thank you so much for this recognition. As the proclamation indicates, it is critically important that we support our communities. It's critically important that we provide legal services and legal representations for those who are least able to afford it. And I'm not going to be long-winded, but I just want to encourage all attorneys to do pro bono service. It's so worth it. It's so needed. And for non-attorneys, I encourage everybody to get involved. Find a place in your community, a cause that you can get behind, and a cause that you can advocate for, because it's really our collective responsibility to uplift and empower our community. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Next, we have Commissioner Angela Powell and the Honorable Judge Tracy Richards.
So I'm going to ask Commissioner Taylor and Commissioner Yolanda Smith Charles to join me, because this is a, as we call it, Black Girl Magic moment for us today. So I'll begin reading this wonderful proclamation on our new judge here, Judge Tracy Richards. Whereas it is important to recognize the commitment and accomplishments of public servants such as Judge Tracy Richards, whose work is critical to upholding our dearly held beliefs as American citizens. And whereas a member of the, girl, you telling your age, 1988 class of Wall Lake Western High School, Judge Richards, right, your district. Judge Richards went on to earn a Bachelor's of Science in Public Administration and Political Science from Florida A&M University. Okay, where she graduated summa cum laude, the highest distinction. 2 years later, she completed a Juris Doctorate from the University of Michigan Law School. Okay, you good. Okay, I know. That is tough.
Oh, okay. Whereas Judge Richards' vast work experience, including with the City of Detroit as a hearing officer and with the Metropolitan Legal Group as managing attorney, served the best interests of the public, specifically those who wished to represent themselves in court and needed assistance understanding the legal impact of quality of life violations related to blight cases. And whereas in 2024, Judge Richards made history as the first Black woman to be elected to the Oakland County Probate Court from the bench. She considers cases through the lenses of her commitment to due process as a right and not a privilege, and honors the opportunity she has to help the people least able to protect themselves. And
Yolanda.
Thank you. Whereas in addition to her professional work, Judge Richards serves as a trustee for Welcome Missionary Baptist Church and as a board member of the Greater Pontiac Community Coalition. She supports the nonprofit's mission to collectively exercise actions and advocacy to generate individual, social, and institutional change. Further, she has been appointed as a fiduciary by the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs, assisting those beneficiaries who are unable to manage their own financial affairs, and also serves on the Probate, Estate, and Trust Committee for the Oakland County Bar Association.
And whereas on this special occasion, we join with her colleagues, friends, and family to celebrate Judge Richards' historical service. Now therefore, David T. Woodward, Chair of the Oakland County Board of Commissioners, Commissioner Angela Powell, and the entire Oakland County Board of Commissioners do hereby proclaim a special commendation to Judge Tracy Richards. We applaud her impressive achievements and pay tribute to your service. And one thing I want to take credit for, this commissioner was the first one to endorse her. She just shared that with me. So, you want to say some words? Yes, come on.
Thank you all for being here and also providing me with the opportunity to receive this award. I thank God for putting good people in my life to help me, because without all of you, I would not be here. And I mean, really, I'm pointing because all these people are people I talked to along the campaign trail, and they freely and generously gave of themselves, their time, their energy, their advice, and I appreciate it so much. So I'm just so grateful, so humble that you've honored me with this award. And I do think and know that it is a privilege to serve you as your newest Oakland County probate judge. Thank you so much. I called you all.
Thank you all, Commissioner.
Thank you. Oh,
There you go, front center. Somebody wants my picture? Okay.
Make a symbol over that. Is that camera digital? I look tall. That's up,
Sorry, Chairman.
Thank you so much. What a welcome addition to our probate court, Judge Tracy Richards. Next, we're going to invite Commissioner Gwen Markham.
Thank you, Madam Vice Chair. I'm here tonight to bring a proclamation for the MSU Tollgate Farm Hanami Spring Picnic. MSU Tollgate is a 160-acre farm that is right in the heart of Novi, right by 12 Oaks Mall. You might even not know where it is, but it's right there and it's beautiful. And so here's the proclamation. Whereas events that honor our community's rich cultural foundations, such as the Hanami Spring Picnic, contribute greatly to the inclusivity of Oakland County. And whereas the Hanami Spring Picnic, hosted by Michigan State University Extension Tollgate Farm and Education Center, is a celebration of the Sakura Garden. Sakura, the Japanese word for cherry blossom trees and their flowers, also represents the beauty of nature, hope, and new beginnings. The garden originated in 2018 with the donation and planting of 17 ornamental cherry trees, which include the Accolade, Kwanzan, and Yoshino varieties. The planting and placement of these trees was designed to vary and extend the bloom period for greater visitor enjoyment. The Sakura Garden is complemented by a Japanese-style tea house, which was constructed to hold a variety of events at Tollgate Farm. And whereas Hanami is a long-standing Japanese tradition of welcoming spring in a picnic-style gathering underneath the cherry blossoms, the Hanami Spring Picnic is a family-oriented fundraiser for Tollgate Farm's farm-based education program and features Japanese music, traditional tea sampling, dancing, crafts, food, and cultural enrichment. And whereas the nonprofit Tollgate Farms and Education Center is centered around a historic 160-acre farm and education center in Novi. The farm provides a hands-on approach to learning about agriculture, horticulture, and natural resources for visitors of all ages, as well as events for the community. And whereas we join with the MSU Extension Tollgate Farm and its visitors to recognize this unique cultural celebration that's available to all residents of Oakland County and the surrounding areas. Now, therefore, David T. Woodward, Chair of the Oakland County Board of Commissioners, Commissioner Gwen Markham, and the entire Oakland County Board of Commissioners do hereby proclaim special commendation to the MSU Tollgate Farm Hanami Picnic. We wish you many more years of welcoming spring and honoring Japanese culture.
And if you'd like to say something.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Commissioner and Board of Commissioners, for this wonderful honor. We're so proud of this program that we bring to Oakland County and the surrounding communities each year. And it's a beautiful family event. We welcome you all to come on Sunday, this Sunday, to enjoy the festivities. Our farm is open to the public. And please come and enjoy the beautiful grounds and our flowers and the many wonderful programs that we offer. Thank you very much.
There are flyers for the festival.
Thank you so much. We value our relationship with MSU, a great partnership. So next we have a Huron-Clinton Metroparks Authority update. Please introduce yourself. I don't have your name on the agenda. Even though, Jane, you've been with us for a long time.
Good evening. I am Jay Quadrosi. I am your appointed representative to the Huron-Clinton Metropolitan Authority. It occurs to me, and actually Phil pointed this out to me a little earlier, that some of you might actually not know how I got here. So I was appointed back in 2010, so it's probably before some of your time. I am just that old. Oakland County has one of 5 county representatives on the Huron-Clinton Metropolitan Authority Board. So it is a 7-person board. There is a representative from Oakland, Wayne, Macomb, Livingston. Who am I missing? Washtenaw, thank you. And then there are 2 gubernatorial appointments. It is a 6-year term, and it is one of the great pleasures that I continue to get to serve on this board and bring you, as I do periodically, our CEO, who is Amy McMillan, who is going to present a brief slideshow with some information about the parks and the wonderful things that are happening.
Thank you, Commissioner, and thank you, Commissioners, for inviting us this evening. I'd like to introduce you to Michaela Vasquez from my office. She will make sure that I keep things moving this evening. Hopefully everybody is aware of the Huron-Clinton Metroparks. We refer to ourselves as the Metroparks. We are the largest regional park system in the state of Michigan. We have nearly 25,000 acres across 13 parks. Our mission is critical really to everything that we do every day in the Metroparks. And really it is all about bringing the benefits of parks and recreation to the people of Southeast Michigan. All the people, all their lives. There is something for the youngest of our residents to the oldest of our residents to do in our parks every single day. One of the things when we ask residents throughout the entire 5-county area that we always ask every few years, what's the most important element of any park system to you? What do you want to see in your metro parks? What do you want to see in park systems throughout the region? And trails always come out at the top of the list year after year. At the Metroparks, we are focusing on improving our trail connections and our experiences across the entire system, both working within the Metroparks and with existing trail systems. We have set a goal for ourselves to connect each and every one of our parks to each and every one of our parks, not just by building our own system, because that would be repetitive and not necessarily the best use of everyone's dollars, but by looking at the region as a whole and determining how we can best connect one system to the other. And we've been pretty successful at that so far. We have a new initiative that's underway, and we thank everyone here who has been such a great supporter of this effort in making these projects move forward. Go ahead. One of the things, of course, that is critical to everybody, you can't have a great park system without having a really strong commitment to fiscal integrity within that system. We take that responsibility very seriously. About 60% of our revenue comes from a property tax that's levied throughout the 5 counties. The rest of our budget is earned income. So if you golf on our courses, you are helping support the entire park system in addition to the golf courses. If every time you come through one of our gates and you are paying a daily fee or you are buying an annual permit, you are helping support all of the park system, from trails to pools to beaches and nature centers. And we work really hard to make sure that we are leveraging that local investment by pursuing grant dollars. And we've been pretty successful at it over the years. You can see a list of some of those projects that are current in front of you today. Go ahead. One of the things that we know our visitors and people who live throughout the southeastern Michigan area region take really seriously is the preservation of these 25,000 acres and their natural resources. These are things that we could never get back if we were not a good steward of the area. So we wanted to share with you tonight a little bit of what we do to manage these natural resources. Tonight we're focusing in on Indian Springs, Kensington, and Stony Creek, which of course are right here in Oakland County. In the Metroparks, we have a program each year where we do controlled burns at our parks. These are, visually I can tell you, they're pretty stunning to be in the presence of that kind of work. And while fire is so destructive, it is also essential to managing these areas so that they come back stronger and better. It helps weed out all of the invasive species so that those natural species that are part of the environment and so critical to preserving the environment here continue to thrive into the future. I don't know how often everybody thinks of the idea of Michigan as being a place where we have threatened species, right? Sometimes I think that we think of it as this bigger global issue, but it's also very important locally here in Michigan. And depending on your feeling about reptiles, we're very lucky. Really, one of the examples that we have here is the Massasauga rattler. We just finished our survey and to see how many adults and small rattlesnakes that we have. But we really take this approach to each of our habitats. And whether it is an animal or a plant, we focus in to make sure that we are preserving these environments and these species now and for the future. Phragmites are really kind of the scourge of everyone's experience in the outdoors. They're visually stunning. They have such a huge presence, but they also choke out native plants and are very detrimental to our natural areas, including our wetland areas. So we have a very aggressive Phragmites program that we manage throughout the Metroparks. We utilize grants in order to do this, as well as investing our own money and making sure that every year we make just a little bit more forward progress against this invasive species. You can see in our presentation and how this is part of a strategy. It is not just something we randomly do and go out and remove Phragmites here or there. We take a really strategic approach to it as part of that stewardship that we focus in on at the Metroparks. Stormwater management, of course, is an issue that becomes more and more important to everyone every year. And I don't know that I do know, until probably about 10 years ago, people didn't think a lot necessarily about the roles that public parks play in stormwater management, but it is a critical role. And the Metroparks are a large part of that here in southeastern Michigan. These are examples of some of the work that we do in improving our shorelines, stabilizing those shorelines, working with other groups throughout the region and beyond to pilot different types of projects to make sure that we are using the highest and best standards. One of the things that we are very committed to and have been moving forward and oddly enough growing is our let it grow zones, our no mow zones. I think sometimes when people come into parks and if they see an area where the grass hasn't been mowed, they're like, oh, somebody's not doing their job. But in fact, these particular areas within our parks are specifically designed not to be mowed. They help capture stormwater, they help preserve the environment. The effects of not mowing those areas help reduce our carbon footprint. So it is an entirely virtuous cycle, and we have been expanding those no-mow zones every year for the past, well, I've been at the Metroparks 7 years now, so about 7 years and maybe a little bit before that as well. Go ahead. We have a bunch of other water quality efforts that take place in the Metroparks. One of the most popular, frankly, is our Goosebusters program at some of our parks, Kensington, Lake St. Clair, and Stony, where various sorts of working dogs, usually border collies or border collie mixes, come and encourage the geese to locate elsewhere so that they're not leaving anything behind that makes the water less safe to swim in. And I'll leave the rest of that to your imagination. We do have a master rain gardener program throughout the region as part of our partnerships with some of our water resources folks have helped us expand that program and really just teaching people how to do rain gardens in their own backyards. Again, every rain garden builds on every other rain garden to help with stormwater management. And then we have a very strategic program to manage aquatic invasive species and plants at each of our parks where we have beaches in particular. The Metroparks has its own climate action plan, and we wanted to share a little bit of that with you this evening. We started this plan in 2023, and we have made tremendous progress toward the 5 goal areas that we identified as part of this plan that was adopted by our Board of Commissioners. There are a total of 131 actions with 89 near-term goals, and then we have longer 10-year goals as well. We are very excited by the progress that we have made so far in improving our communication, both internally and externally within the Metroparks. We have a large group of people that work for us. We have about 200 full-time employees. During the summer, we have somewhere between 800 and 1,000 employees. So improving communication, connecting everyone who works to for the Metroparks to that vision so they can also carry those connections to their friends, to their neighbors, to expand that understanding of the work has been vitally important to this task. Go ahead. Just wanted to share with you some of the results that we have had here in Oakland County. And they're here for you to see. We're really excited about the progress that we have made so far. One of the things, if you are a golfer, you're on the parks, that you'll see that's different this year is we're testing our EV mowers. We have been converting year after year our golf fleet to electronic carts. We've started trying out a little bit of electric cars in some of the work that we do. And most importantly, we have developed this early detection system so that we are on top of things as they are happening and are able to manage them in a data-driven way to report back to our board. Go ahead. This is just from Earth Day a week or so ago. We really appreciate folks from Oakland County coming out to celebrate Earth Day and volunteering in the parks for us, so thank you for that. Wanted to share just a few of our programming facts from this past year. If you know anything about the Metroparks, you know we take a tremendous amount of pride in our nature programming. It takes place in our in our schools and in our parks. And we have been recognized nationally for the expertise that our folks bring to this. And really, when we get testimony from kids and teachers and parents, we know that this is changing lives. And we really hope that we are also inspiring kids to be great teachers going forward, to being great advocates for the planet and for the natural environment. So we're very excited about this. These are some of the numbers. As you can see, we serve tens of thousands of kids in schools and at the parks every single year. We also work with community groups outside of schools. So if you're not a school child, but we visit, we work with senior centers, scouts, youth organizations, libraries. We do a lot of work with libraries. In fact, in 2024, we worked with 177 organizations. You can imagine how busy our staff is. And in those organizations, we had over 21,000 participants. We hope that you've seen that water safety has become a really critical issue for the Metroparks. Every summer, every community experiences the tragedy of drowning. Too often, it is children. In our region, 79% of children in households of $50,000 or less a year don't know how to swim. That puts them at risk of drowning, and it also limits their ability to enjoy these tremendous natural resources that we have throughout the region and that are really part of being a Michigander. So I just wanted to remind you about everyone in the pool program. Oakland County Parks has been a great partner with us in this program, as has the PAL program. We have taught thousands of children how to swim for free because one of the biggest obstacles to water safety is being able to afford swim lessons. Swim lessons are extraordinarily expensive. So when the Metroparks started looking at this issue, we knew we couldn't afford to build new pools, and there are lots of great pools throughout the region. But, so what we could afford to do and what we could help to leverage was to help pay for those swim lessons. So our local partners, including those here in Oakland County, have been critical to making that happen. They are your lifeguards. They are your swim instructors. You are paying to keep those pools open. And so you are a critical component of making that program work. And you can see from the results of the 3 years that we've done this program that we are making great progress toward these goals. Things that might seem as simple to you as a child being able to bob in the water. That means if that child ends up in the water and they are startled to be there, if they've learned that response of coming up out of the water, that does count as a water safety skill. So you'll see everything from that basic skill up to basic strokes within the water. And one of the things that has been really exciting to us in the last 2 years in particular is that as kids have been learning to swim, their parents, their grandparents, their aunts, their uncles have been reaching out to us, and we have been able to extend our programming to other age groups. And in addition to doing swim lessons in the summer, we are now doing swim lessons year-round. So we thank you for your support here through the Oakland County Parks and making that happen. These are some of the figures from Oakland County. And they are things that we are very proud of, and hopefully you are very proud of as well. I'm telling you, there is nothing more fun than going to a swim lesson program and seeing this program in action. Wanted to share a little bit about our programs in our projects and events in our parks here in Oakland County with you. Last year we opened a new playground at Indian Springs. If you've not been, make the trip. It's a lot of fun. Not only is it a lot of fun, it is also safe and it is barrier-free. That is part of an overall initiative we started several years ago in the Metroparks to make sure every kid who comes to our programs, who comes to our playgrounds, has the opportunity to play with every other kid who's there. Go ahead. We're updating a playground at Stony Creek, and we have a new playground also that's going in at Ridgewood this summer. So if you're on that side of the park, you'll see that under construction soon. Not sure if you're a water slide person, but if you are and you haven't been in a while, this is the year to go because we have a brand new water slide that has been delivered to Stony Creek. It is now inflated and it will be ready for the Memorial Day weekend. Oh, so I mean, it depends on how fast you want to go down, right? Like, I promise though that you will not go sliding off the end or off the sides of it. So you'll get a thrill, but you won't get hurt. There you go. Sheldon Mountain Bike Festival. This is it's our third year this year. And the mountain biking community has been tremendously supportive of the Sheldon Trails. We could not have done it without them, most especially Cramba out of Oakland County. And it is insanely great to see some of the things that people can do on mountain bikes. And one of the things that has been so rewarding to us is people who come out weekend after weekend to teach kids how to mountain bike. This is a community of people who really invest not only in their experience, but in the future of the sport, and particularly in the inclusion of everyone on the trails. So if you've not been out, come on out. Go ahead. We talk a lot about our 7 regulation golf courses of the Metroparks, but one of the things that we are also extraordinarily proud of is our disc golf experience. And disc golf is everywhere throughout the Metroparks, including at Stony Creek and at Kensington. And at Kensington, we host national events on a pretty regular basis. People come from all over, and next year, we are hosting the world event for disc golf. So put it on your calendar, come on out. We'll make sure you get the station that it's going to air on. But it's a tremendous amount of fun, and it is a serious sport. that has a serious economic impact on the people who stay in hotels, eat in restaurants, and all the things that people do when they come to a world-class sporting event. This is from 2024, but the last 2 or 3 years, regattas have become a really popular and important part of the high school sports experience at Kensington, and they are something to behold. These athletes are incredible at the sport that they do, and we are really proud to be able to host them at Kensington through their season each year. There you go. Thanks, Michaela. Yeah, if you were coming into the park when they were coming into the park, you were going to wait for a minute to get in. One of the programs that we have that we're doing in cooperation with the Oakland County Parks, I think I saw it on somebody's, and Chris's newsletter that went out yesterday or the day before, is the Special Park District Forum. And our theme is Parks for All. This program brings park professionals from all over the country to learn what we are doing here in Oakland County, Wayne County. I think we're also in Macomb at one of our parks, and on the Detroit riverfront. So we're really excited. This program only comes to Michigan about once every 10 years, and it took a tremendous effort to put this together. Oakland County has been a great partner, and one of our co-chairs is standing right to my left. There you go.
Metro Detroit and its surrounding neighborhoods and suburbs is the perfect place for a Parks Forum.
Yeah! What, you don't believe us? We can show you.
What does Parks for All look like?
It looks like this.
And this.
And this. And this.
It looks like exploring thousands of acres of parklands, hundreds of miles of trails, endless opportunities for outdoor recreation.
And offering programs and events that crush barriers, fill gaps, and build lasting memories.
And it looks like a dedication to address equity and inclusion and ensure parks are for all people.
Join us across Southeast Michigan to see and experience what makes these places and these efforts so important.
And leave inspired and empowered to foster greater equity and environmental justice in your own communities.
So when you get an opportunity, give your Oakland County folks a big high five, because they're doing really great work and making this happen. It's in early June, and I think so far we've got about 120 people registered who are coming in to the area. This is what some of the programming looks like. And we think that not only are we going to get the opportunity to brag about what we do, but we'll be able to influence parks well outside of southeastern Michigan. Golf. You've got golf courses. You know, the last few years have been really great for us with golf. We have seen a 14% increase over the 4-year average on our golf courses. If you want to golf on one of our really beautiful courses, now is the time to start planning your outings. And go online, make your registration, reserve those tee times so you can play on some of the highest rated public courses here in southeastern Michigan. We are also launching our Trail Challenge. This is an opportunity to go out and visit 13 Metroparks over the course of the summer, all 13 parks, and earn some serious swag that is not in the bags that we provided to you today. And of course, if you want to learn more about the Metroparks, you can find us any time of the day or night at metroparks.com. Thank you so much for your time this evening. Thank you so much for your support. We really appreciate you.
Thank you so much, Ms. McMillan. There's a lot going on in our park system. Does anybody have any questions? Commissioner Powell?
I just wanted to say thank you all. I am a witness of the swim program for the kids in the city of Pontiac. So You all are doing great, and thank you for partnering with our county and helping to give them kids that opportunity, so thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioner Smith Charles?
Yeah, thank you, Chair, Acting Chair. I just wanted to say, because I was like, is this friend or foe? Because, you know, I'm Team Oakland County Parks, and I don't know this. I mean, I've seen Metroparks in the community, and in fact, my husband loves fishing at Kensington. So what I wanted to check with you on is the Visit Oakland County survey went out a few weeks back.
Yeah.
And what we found is that a lot of people don't easily distinguish between a metro park, a county park, a city park, you know.
State park, yeah.
Yeah, I ran into that trouble when I bought a state pass, and I can't find a state park. So my question is, you know, I see there is collaboration, and I appreciate that with Oakland County Parks. Do you also make this presentation to them, or they already have seen it and kind of is how you arrived at some of these data points?
So the data points are data that we collect all year long, so we have confidence in our own data. I actually was in one of the forums for the Visit Oakland County. Yeah. There was a person talking a lot about fishing. I don't know if it was your husband or not, but there is a lot of cooperation and collaboration. And the thing about the Metroparks, I came from a county park system that is a little bit different, is really like the size and scale, right? And so it's definitely not a competition. It is the opportunity to do more things in more places, because not every park system can do everything for everyone. And I mean, I'm sure as a county commissioner, you have like the whole, people don't necessarily know what city government is, county government is, and that's just part of life in Michigan. And we try not to take it personally. Yeah.
Commissioner Johnson?
Thank you. And Madam Chair, is it all right? I have 4. They'll be quick. I'll be fast. Okay, I'll take your silence as yes. First one, I just want to actually expound on my colleague's question, and this sounds worse than I mean it, but it is genuinely, like, why do you exist? What is the difference between the state park, the county park? Like, what was the purpose for the creation of Metroparks? I know it's not unique to Detroit. A lot of municipalities have a big metropolitan area park system, but why?
So the Metroparks have existed for over 80 years, right? 85 years, actually, this year. And the original concept behind creating a metro park system, and we're an authority, was to preserve open land, right? And to be great stewards of this land, because otherwise I'm pretty sure all of those 25,000 acres would be subdivisions in some way, shape, or form. And to preserve the natural resources, the system was set up in such a way that it could continue forward, that we would have a sound financial system, and that we would be governed equally by representatives of each of those 5 counties and from the state, so that people who visit from outside of those counties are welcome as well. It's a true public park system.
Interesting, thanks.
Sure.
And then real fast, when you do transition from mow zones to no-mow zones, do you reseed the area?
It depends.
Okay. If it's already got clover, it's fine.
I'm going to use Lake St. Clair as the example of where we reseed. So at Lake St. Clair, we've seeded, and it takes 3 or 4 seasons to look like we've reseeded it so that it blooms and looks like a meadow. Other areas are already more naturally that. And at Lake St. Clair, we took a whole big area and just said, done, mowing. At most of our other parks, it's like we're moving the borders of mowing out, sure, right? So there's not the need to reseed. We might expand the burn zone areas to eradicate or at least control those invasive species.
Speaking of, thoughts on the Bradford pear? Good.
Yeah.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Any other questions? Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
I think we all learned a lot about all the services you offer.
All right. That will conclude all the presentations this evening. Brings us to communications, and I'll call on our clerk for the communications.
We have a few this evening. The first is dated May 1st, 2025, to the Oakland County Board of Commissioners. Please accept this letter as notification that I have exercised the authority granted to the chair of the board to approve grant applications in excess of $50,000 for the purposes of meeting a submission deadline. Due to the grantor deadlines and the board's grant submission process and calendar, it is not possible to submit the application for full board consideration in accordance with our normal procedures. I have authorized the submission of the following grant applications. The grant name is for fiscal year 26 County Veterans Service Fund Grant for the Veterans Services Division. The amount is $149,916, and the grant application deadline is May 1st, 2025. The application was considered with an affirmative vote by the Economic Development and Infrastructure Committee on April 23rd, 2025. And the second grant is the Nutrition and Healthy Lifestyles Grant for the Health and Human Services Department in the amount of $333,872. The grant application deadline was May 1st, 2025, and this application was considered with an affirmative vote by the Public Health and Safety Committee on April 22nd, 2025. Sincerely, David T. Woodward, Chair, Oakland County Board of Commissioners. The next communication is also dated May 1st, 2025, to the Oakland County Board of Commissioners. I am hereby appointing the following individual to the Oakland County Art Institute Authority to complete the term ending May 31st, 2026, or until a successor is appointed and qualified. The appointee is Nancy Salvia. She's the minority appointment. Your confirmation of this appointment is respectfully requested. Sincerely, David T. Woodward, Chairman, Oakland County Board of Commissioners. Next one, also May 1st, 2025, to the Oakland County Board of Commissioners. I am hereby appointing the following individuals to serve on the Oakland County Zoological Authority for the next one-year term ending May 1st, 2026, or until a successor is appointed and qualified. The appointees are Alex Cooper, Millie Hall, and Brandon Colo, and the alternates are Tamika Ramsey, Helene Zach, and Robert Kalman. Your confirmation of these appointments is respectfully requested. Sincerely, David T. Woodward, Chairman, Oakland County Board of Commissioners. Next one, also May 1st, 2025, to the Oakland County Board of Commissioners. Please accept this letter as my formal resignation from the Airport Committee, effective immediately. Sincerely, Gwen Markham, Oakland County Commissioner, District 15. And next one, May 1st, 2025, to the Oakland County Board of Commissioners. I am hereby appointing Commissioner Lenny Taylor to the Airport Committee, effective today for the term ending December 31st, 2026. Sincerely, David T. Woodward, Chairman, Oakland County Board of Commissioners. That's it for
In and
tonight.
out, just like that. There we go. All right. Is there a motion to receive the communications? Moved by Commissioner Liu, seconded by Commissioner Gingill. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay. Let the record reflect that the communications are received unanimously. This will bring us to the first public comment of tonight's meeting. This is the opportunity for the public to speak on items on the agenda. We have a second public comment at the end of the meeting to speak on any additional item. A couple people signed up, so I'll start with here, but if there's anybody else, just raise your hand. We'll ask you to come to the microphone at the back of the auditorium there. State your name, direct your comments to me, the chair. Keep your comments to state your name and community residence, but also keep your comments to 3 minutes, and we got a little clock up here to help keep you on track. So first up, I got Joe Roselle, followed by Brett Scott, and then Joseph Ferrari.
Thank you, Chairman Woodward, Commissioners. I'm Joe Roselle, Second Vice President of UAW Local 889, the union that represents the folks in the Department of Management and Budget. I'm here to speak tonight on the equalization contracts, the assessing rates, the concern of the union on behalf of the employees that are here this evening is the fear that these rates that are being proposed will push communities into the private sector and will cost union jobs here at the county. These folks here do an excellent job in what they do. They take great pride in their work. There's a lot of integrity and uniformity that we all benefit from. Our largest source of revenue as county government, like all cities and townships in this county, is the property taxes. And there, as I've said during the finance presentation, we have skin in the game. And there are communities that years ago, because of corruption or incompetence, were pushed to the county to have their assessing done here. One community alone, when it was brought here, added $3 million in taxable value from parcels that weren't on the tax roll. That was money that we were missing out. Community college, local school districts were missing out on every year. And so I'm just begging that you look at an alternative than a triple-digit rate increase that will push these folks out of work and onto the streets. I really want a committee to be formed that includes cities, townships, labor, equalization management, Board of Commissioners, reps. Communities need to understand how these rates were developed. Nobody is arguing that an increase isn't necessary. I think the argument is understanding how we got to this increase. We need a runway. The runway will protect jobs. The runway will protect local communities. They say, Joe, you wear a lot of hats. I say, yep, I just change out my lapel pin, right? So during the day, I've got the Oakland County seal. Now I've got the UAW seal. 2 nights a month, I've got the Huntington Woods seal, right? So I wear a lot of different hats, but I just want to say from a fairness perspective, I really wish you would consider an alternative to the initial proposal that you received. And I thank you for the work that you put into this and the amount of time that some of you have spent on the phone with me discussing this and how responsive you have been. The union appreciates that and takes note of that. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Roselle. Okay. Next up, we got Brett Scott, Mayor of Pleasant Ridge. Welcome.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Brett Scott, Mayor of the City of Pleasant Ridge, from Pleasant Ridge, Michigan. Thank you for your time this evening. I appreciate your time that you put into this equalization effort. That's what I'm speaking about tonight. I have a motto that a happy city manager is a happy city, and this matter has made my city manager very, very unhappy. The way that this is rolled out was not consistent and not in the style that we were used to seeing from Oakland County. We think of you as a trusted and reliable partner. Not being told that this was coming was a problem. We're nearly done with our budget planning, and all of you that represent cities know that cities tend to finish their budget planning in the April-May timeframe so that it can be approved and in the books by July. To throw us for our community, a 100% increase on our assessing services is like lobbing a grenade at us and asking us not to throw it back at you. So at least I am highly recommending that you consider the Gingle proposal, which allows us another year to consider how this is done. I agree with my colleague here from the UAW and Huntington Woods to invite the communities in and to provide you feedback on how this is affecting us, how we're actually going to pay you this extra money, because at least in our case, we're not necessarily arguing that the money may be needed. I think the money may be needed, but doing it now is bad planning. It sets bad precedent for the county to send this to us in this way without notice of the rates. Of course, we are all responsible for not knowing that the contract was ending, but we should all be responsible in the way that we roll it out. And this does not feel like a responsible process unless we give ourselves the time to do it right. And it doesn't feel like it's being done right. I'm not even sure that I understand the methodology as a whole and how the numbers were calculated. So give us time to do our homework. I was telling someone else this evening, this is equivalent to rushing up to the gate in an airport, seeing the plane on the runway or on the taxi, and asking us to turn the plane around. That isn't going to fly for us. We need the time to do this right. You need to catch your flight. If this was important to you, this should have been already told to us back in January or February. We would have had time to plan it in and do our jobs right. We want you to do all of our jobs, help us do all of our jobs right. And that's where we stand on this. So please give that some consideration. And thank you for your time. And by the way, I want to give a shout out to Melissa Chambers, our assessor. She does a phenomenal job. This is in no way a statement about the quality of care that we get on assessing services. We think the assessing services are phenomenal. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mayor Scott. Next up, we have Treasurer Joseph Ferrari from Oxford Township.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Joseph Ferrari, I've been Treasurer of Oxford Township for 33 years. I started at 26 and I'm 58 now. So needless to say, I've seen quite a bit happen since 1992. My suggestion would be is we go for the 1-year smoothed out contract and have the committee that Mr. Roselle suggested come and take a look at everything. A lot of us are right in the middle of our budget years. Townships lease charter started January 1. We're coming up on month 5. So already 5 months of our year's already been burned. So it's going to be hard for us to come up with that money. I think also, too, you do not want to change in the middle of a tax season. We do not want to impact 2025's tax roll. We're all starting to balance and everything. We got bills going on July 1. So you do not want to impact that. To me, your best bet is going to 1-year smoothed out contract, have this committee set up, hopefully we can work through these numbers together. And I keep hearing the numbers are the numbers. When you start digging into them, I like to thoroughly review, like Mr. Loeffler's numbers. Some of the costs that are attributable to the contractees are the cost of doing business. Building depreciation, that building's going to appreciate whether somebody's in it or not. It's like me saying, I'm going to get younger by standing up here. No, I'm going to keep getting older. And I think that's something we have to keep looking at all these numbers. And if you take a look at these indirect costs, depreciation, county executive, admin, fiscal services, those folks are going to be there regardless of the contracts here or not. So to me, that's something I'd like this committee to delve into. Is that a chargeable cost? But I think right now we've got to look at the issue at hand is getting these contracts signed. To me, a 1 year from when this contract ends, July 1 of 2025, June 30 of 2026, at the smoothed out rate, $22.50 per parcel. And hopefully we can come together with calmer minds. Right now, there's a lot of sting from the local units with the sheriff's contract going up and the fire dispatch going up. Like I've told folks, we need a cooling period, like they do with anything you do with your kids. You need a cooling off period. My kid's 18. Trust me, does things that piss me off. So I got to give myself a cooling off period. I can't tell them what I think. I go in another room. That's what we need to do. Take a month off, start scheduling these meetings, get everybody in the room, whoever you guys want to appoint, and work this issue out. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Next up, I got Mayor Bob Paul from the city of Huntington Woods.
Thank you, Chairman. Thank you, Commissioners, for hearing us this evening. I am also talking about the equalization contract tonight, and I just ask all of you to give us a little more time. I'm not going to reiterate what my colleagues have already said here, but I do question the uniform rate as it has been presented. It certainly takes different amounts of time and talent to do the work in the city of Huntington Woods on a small 1,200 square foot bungalow that sits on a 50 by 150 lot compared to a 10,000 square foot home on a couple of acres in another community or a General Motors plant in another community. For the same flat uniform rate to apply to all those parcels just doesn't make sense. And I think we have had a great partnership with the many communities of Oakland County over a lot of years. And I would appreciate it, and I'm sure all of them would appreciate it if we just take a moment, take some time, explain all of this to us. I also think the Equalization Department does a wonderful job. I'm not questioning their costs. I'm not questioning the job they do. My budget is also done. I don't have this in my budget, so thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, so normally, and I'm just going to ask by consensus of the group, I think there's some people here to speak on items that are not on the agenda. We're going to have to take a recess after we get through the consent agenda.
We'd like to speak on this. You missed our name.
No, I understand, but are you?
We just want to think about Tracy. We just want to talk about Tracy. So we'd like to do it. And it was on the agenda.
Just 1 second here. I hear you. Given we're going to take a recess after we get the consent agenda, if there's no objection, we'll move the last public comment up to the front to let everyone speak. So if you want to speak on this or other things, is that okay? Okay. So, I mean, there are some topics that I know some people have come here often that are not on the agenda, so I was trying to create the space to do it now because we're going to go in a break for a recess. I don't want you to have to wait to the end of the meeting. So, wait, just 1 second, please.
Mr. Chair,
Commissioner Gingell.
so are you looking for a formal motion to move the second public agenda up to this point in the agenda?
Public comment in this part, yes.
I'll make that motion.
Moved by Gingell, seconded by Markham. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay. So, there are other people signing up, so I'm going to, the people who signed up, I'm going to, Commissioner Cavell, can you please sit down? Thank you. So, I'm going to call on Chris Aboud, followed by Jeff White and Jody White, and if there's anybody else that wants to speak on any topic on the agenda or not after those three individuals, you can speak now. I don't want you to have to wait till the end of the meeting. So, Chris Aboud.
Well, I know you start your meetings 50 minutes late, so I think there should be a point of order to get the time management of these meetings in order for the public, okay? We have other things to do too. So I want to speak on Parks and Recreation and the money that's being allocated in Oakland County. There's a lot of money in Oakland County, tons of it. Your taxes are high, you got the money. But is it being used for the best advantage of everybody? They mentioned Parks for All, but I missed a segment of the population that pretty soon is going to be almost the majority of the population. That's the baby boomers. They're all coming to age, and the kids, I'm a retired Detroit teacher. 40 years, it's been now 50 years in another arena teaching. And I can assure you that children get a lot of exercise during the day. They have gym, they have playground equipment out inside, they join after-school activities, dance, sports, everything. They are overextended with their exercise needed daily. But the one segment of the population that's missing from all those beautiful photos and everything is the senior citizens. I was walking in a park near my house, and I noticed that, and I had a friend meet me, and she was on a walker. She came to the walker. She couldn't get on the cement walking part because the cement had shifted over the years, and there were cracks. There, I even picked up a piece of concrete. She could not get on there on her own and struggled to get onto the walkway. I called that city and I said, you know, you've got elders that are coming here and people that are going to fall and hurt themselves seriously, if not die, or get severe brain injury because of the condition of your park here just for an elder to walk. And what he told me, he says, yeah, I know, but we don't have enough money to really allocate for the parks and doing things like that. I said, well, you better come up with money when she gets a lawyer and falls and cracks her head open and sues your asses. And then he thought about it, but I never heard anything. I left my number. A year later, I didn't go to that park, but a year later, I went back to that park. As I approached the park, I saw big, huge machinery. And what were they doing? They're re-cementing the entire park's walkways because they realized somebody was right and that they were negligent. What I see a vision of is the baby boomers coming of age, and I want to see allocation for my dream park where it's gated, seniors only, someone in charge, a teenager it could be, and have games and things that are wheelchair accessible.
I need you to wrap up your comments.
Sure. Checkerboard tables, maybe photos of the old Hudsons and things that stimulate dementia patients and so forth. It would be a dream come true in every county where caregivers could take their caregivers and get vitamin D, fresh air, and communicate with one another.
Okay, your time's up. Thank you. Can you share for the rest of it what park you were referring to? The park that you visited that had the issues?
I'd rather not.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't in this county. That's where I got the idea.
That's fine.
That's where I got the idea. St. Clair Shores, to be exact.
Thank you very much. Yeah. Next up, we have Jeff White and Jody White.
Good evening.
And then you can speak anything on the agenda or off the agenda.
Jeff White. I was basically here to speak on behalf of the Honorable Tracy Richards, and I'm just excited to see that she's come up there in probate. And I think the best comment was from Commissioner Powell. I mean, she's a breath of fresh air. I've had a chance to actually see her in action, sit in her gallery, and I'm proud of her, and I'm really happy to have her aboard. But I do want to go on because I only got a short period here. I want to go on to my agenda regarding Dan O'Brien's courtroom. Attorney Thomas Brennan Frazier, he is the personal representative of my father's estate, and I want to address his failures and his duties and his violations of state laws. We have a court hearing scheduled for June 23rd, and I am asking for county commissioners to witness the way I have been treated, as I am biased towards my family and my father's estate, and Judge O'Brien is clearly biased towards Tom Frazier and his attorney, Joseph Ehrlich. Thomas Brennan Frazier's conduct as personal representative has been a profound breach of his statutory duties under Michigan law, despite being appointed special fiduciary on December 4th, 2012, with explicit warnings that my now convicted brother, David White, was a spendthrift. And later, Frazier, as the personal representative in 2015, never created a proper inventory of John White's substantial assets, all the gold, the silver, the cash, the stocks, the bonds, the condo in Florida. This directly violates MCL 700-3706, which requires a personal representative to prepare an inventory of property owned by the descendant. To this day, Frazier maintains there are no assets. Despite the evidence of a significant estate value and the proof that David White, his co-trustee, was criminally convicted with all the assets were embezzled, and that was conviction on November 21st, 24, 4 years in prison. More egregiously, Frazier violated MCL 700-7803, which requires a trustee to act as would a prudent person in dealing with a property of another, including following the standards of Michigan Prudent Investor Rule. As an attorney with special skills and expertise, Frazier is held to even a higher standard under this statute. Instead of administrating the estate impartially, as required by MCL 700-7803, Frazier exclusively protected David White's interests, ignored my father's estate plan that had an explicit requirement to divide the assets into as many separate trusts as there are living beneficiaries, and failed to keep a separate book account concerning each trust. I will wrap this up real quick. He has further violated MCL 700-78021, which mandates that a trustee administer and the trust solely in the interest of the trust beneficiaries by allowing Joseph Ehrlich to create false narratives that shield both of them from accountability while depleting estate assets.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, and too bad I couldn't have this in the Honorable Judge Tracy Richards' room.
Next, Jody
Can I
White.
get clarity, please? Do I get 3 minutes for the first and then 3 minutes on the second? Okay, thank you. Okay, so yes.
What topic are you speaking on the first?
Well, okay, because, I have a speech, it's less than 3 minutes because I don't want to get yelled at, but I do want to comment about the agenda. So I don't want this counting against my 3 minutes. And it's really a praise report. Again, it is a breath of fresh air to have Tracy Richards. It's a breath of fresh air to have Law Day. We are asking for the law library to come back. I'm in the room quite a bit.
That's not on the agenda.
Well, it was on the
law library is not on the agenda.
People. It's okay. Then what about commenting about the shock that the treasurer and the mayor has? We have a shock in probate court. So again, it is
not the agenda.
Okay. Well,
okay. But now you want to start your 3 minutes on anything else? Yes.
I'd like these to go to the clerk because I'd like these submitted into the record because I'm going to be referencing them. So I stand before you today representing the 63,000 constituents in each of your 19 districts who need your intervention regarding harmful practices by certain members of the State Bar of Michigan and our probate court system. You guys were established in 1969, and the Board of Commissioners is the legislative body of Oakland County. Your powers include the authority to establish and formulate county policies and adopt and enforce rules establishing the authority, duties, and responsibility of county departments and offices. These powers are critical to addressing the issues I'm presenting today. As a Michigan State University, this is the article I'd like to submit. Ken Verberg explained your responsibilities extend beyond passing ordinances to include setting policy, conducting legislative oversight, and providing constituent services. This oversight role is crucial as you seek to ensure that county administrators carry out their tasks effectively and efficiently while assessing the effects of the programs that the county funds and are being used for. The Michigan Revised Judiciary Act establishes that the State Bar of Michigan is a public body corporate whose members are officers of the court of this state. According to MCL 600-901, the regulation of the practice of law, the maintenance of high standards in the legal profession, and the discharge of professional duties to protect and inform the public are purposes in which the state of Michigan has a compelling interest. The probate court does administer estates and trusts. They appoint guardians and conservators. They order treatment for mentally ill, developmentally disabled persons. And when this system is exploited by bad actors within the legal profession, our most vulnerable population suffers tremendously. Through your Public Health and Safety Committee, you have a structure to investigate these issues and develop solutions. As the body that adopts county policies and enforces rules, establishing the duties of county departments, you are uniquely positioned to ensure our probate court operates with integrity. I urge you to do 4 things. Initiate an investigation into the reported abuses in the probate court involving certain state bars. 2, create a special committee through your existing committee structure. 3, please hold public hearings to gather more testimony from the affected citizens. And 4, develop and adopt policies to protect Oakland County residents who are in the guardianship or estate matters. You have both the authority and the moral obligation to address these issues. Please use your legislative powers to ensure our probate court serves the public interest with transparency and accountability. I do believe with Tracy Richards, we're going to see that. We are being asked to court watch in our courtroom to see what she's doing with some of these lawyers that we've had problems with. I think she needs your guys' support because she needs the commissioners and the state legislators to back her because she can't do it by herself. So thank you so much, and thank you for not buzzing me.
Thank you very much. You went way over your time. You didn't speak on anything that was on the agenda in the beginning.
No.
But what?
That was Parks and Rec. It was on the agenda.
No. Metroparks was a presentation, not on the agenda. Your 3 minutes is up. Yeah. Anybody else, just raise your hand and we can come to the podium.
Hi, Mary Gillis, Waterford Township, Director of Central Operations for the Road Commission. I'm coming to you again today. I talked a little bit in caucus, but I'm coming and imploring you to please work with the Road Commission and get with the employees, find out what our employees want, not what our commissioners want so much, but our employees. We have a lot of great employees that keep these roads clean every year. And we all want the building on our property. We're invested in it already. We have $5 million down, and it's going to be a lot more if we don't start them up again on May 21st. Our 90-day pause is over then, and we'd really like you to give us the go-ahead, tell our commissioners, set them free. Tell our commissioners they can start our project again. We're still waiting to hear one thing from the county executive's office. Where do they want us to go? What do they want us to talk about? We've done our due diligence. You've known about this since before 2019. 2019, you supported it. We had a groundbreaking last year. Many of you were there. We just want to get going with this project again and build our building. We want to stay a separate entity. We don't want to be a part of the county. We love taking care of the residents of the county, but we're an independent agency and we like it that way. We want to keep the politics out of road building. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Good evening. My name is Elizabeth Kelly, and I am the retired executive director at Hope Shelters and now the interim, so apparently I suck at retirement. I wanted to talk to you about two things. One of them is a follow-up. One of my staff last meeting came to talk about the crosswalk on Baldwin Avenue in front of Hope Shelters. I know that this is not necessarily an area that you have control over, but we are getting nowhere and we really need this. We had someone who was killed in that crosswalk. We've had people who have been hit by cars. Oakland County Health Division has walk-in Wednesdays at Baldwin, lunches. There are smart bus stops, north and southbound on both sides. People are crossing there all the time. And traffic is always faster than posted speeds. And then the second thing is I want to plant a seed. We have to, at Hope, we have to fundraise for 50% of our operational budget. And that's not a sustainable thing. And right now, with homelessness on the rise, 14% rise in homelessness in 2023, 18% in 2024, and we don't know what's going to happen in 2025 because what we're seeing is that there are vouchers that are being pulled, so we're expecting fully that 20% of those vouchers, not talking about people that are newly homeless, or impacts of the economy, because back in 2010, we had a lot of issues with people who were gainfully employed in auto plants and things like this that became homeless. A lot of people are that proverbial paycheck away. So our most vulnerable populations are the ones becoming homeless. Seniors are the fastest growing population of people being homeless. We have veterans, kids aging out of foster care who can go to college, but they can't have a place to stay. So we want to make sure that, that you're aware of this. I'd like to invite you to come and see Hope Shelters. I have my card right here, so you can contact me. I'm planting the seed for support tonight, but I plan to be back, and I plan to get to know all of you because this is something that is really important for all of us. We each have one life to live, and this is an opportunity to make sure that each and every person in Oakland County who is struggling also has that opportunity to live and to not be cast out in the cold, in the heat. There is no good time of the year to be homeless. Thank you very much. I really appreciate the opportunity to talk with you. My cards are there. Thanks.
Thank you very much. So anybody else that would like to speak? Yes, sir. Welcome.
Hi, my name's Steve. I'm a resident of Waterford and a road commission employee. I had a whole speech prepared for this, and some things kind of developed since I did that, so bear with me. You guys have on your agenda item 14A, which was the proceeding to have Water Resources look into a new building. And I applaud them. I'm excited for them to have their own building, to move forward with getting everybody in one location. The Road Commission echoes that. Before this meeting, and I spoke about that in caucus, I brought up the parallels between the Road Commission and Water Resources in those needs and in the time that they've put forward to look into and research and really define what their needs are. Before this meeting started, I was told that there is no parallel, that Water Resources has gone to EDI committee and has done many other things to collaborate with the Oakland County government. I just want to remind this board that it is still the Road Commission for Oakland County, not the Oakland County Department of Roads. We are a separate entity, and we have tried to collaborate. We have had it come up in our takeover meeting that had occurred a couple years ago, and that continue to happen as this board studies the Road Commission. They knew about the building then. Our groundbreaking, everybody was invited to it. Unfortunately, not everybody came, but it was brought up, and people were allowed to come. It seems convenient that our project is being stopped. The agency that is not part of the county government, that has a separate stream of funding while the Pontiac project is going on. It doesn't pass the sniff test to me, and I just wanted to air that.
Thank you, sir. Anybody else during public comment? You state your name, community residence, and
My name is Amanda Marshall. I'm from Waterford Township. I'm here to address the commissioners on the equalization rates that are on tonight's agenda. I want to thank you all for the time to be able to speak. I also want to preface with this is not my forte, so hopefully I don't throw up on you, Mr. Commissioner Cavall. As an Oakland County resident, a taxpayer, and a member of UAW leadership here at Oakland County, I'm here to advocate for the dedicated public servants who uphold the integrity of our property tax system. Most of us, including probably most of you on this board, choose public service not for prestige or profit, but because we believe in serving our communities with integrity and professionalism. We want to make government better, and public service matters. It's the backbone of trust between government and the people it serves. That trust is built in part on the property tax roll, the financial foundation that supports the majority of Oakland County's budget. While I keep hearing the math is the math, I urge you to look beyond the spreadsheet. The formulas behind this math don't capture the quality, the value of quality. What's missing in the ability is the ability to quantify the benefit of having experienced, mission-driven professionals directly developing the tax rolls that fund this county. That's not just math, that's good governance. Raising contract rates at the level proposed will likely lead to job losses in the management and budget department. These are not just positions, they are people who live here, raise families here, and work with integrity to ensure fairness in our property tax system. Losing them affects more than staffing expenses on a spreadsheet. It undermines stability, institutional knowledge, and the accuracy of the tax rolls, which impacts not just staffing, but the county's own bottom line. Please don't undervalue what can't be measured in a math formula. This vote is not just about numbers, it's about people. It's about the strength of our communities and the quality of service we deliver. I urge you to work with our local CVT partners to find a more balanced approach that protects jobs, ensures quality, and reflects our shared commitment to public service. As Executive David Coulter said, people over politics. Thank you for your time and thoughtful consideration.
Thank you very much. Anybody else for public comment? Anybody else? Seeing none, I will close public comment, and I'll bring it back to this side. And we'll go to reports of standing committee. We'll get on with the consent agenda. Is there a motion to adopt the consent agenda? Moved by Commissioner Taylor, seconded by Commissioner Lubes. Any discussion by commissioners on the consent agenda? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please prompt the vote.
Mr. Chair, you have 18 yeas, 0 nays.
A sufficient number voted in the affirmative. The consent agenda is adopted. Now move us to the regular agenda, and there are some continued items that need to be discussed on one of the topics of tonight. And so we're going to stand at ease, and the Democratic Caucus is going to reconvene.
Johnson. Joliet.
Here.
Long.
Here.
Lubes. Markham. Miller.
Here.
Nelson. Powell. Smiley.
Still here.
Smith Charles.
Still present.
Spiz.
Present.
Taylor.
Here.
Weipert. Here. Woodward.
Here.
Mr. Chair, you have a quorum.
Thank you very much. This will reconvene at the regular agenda. And under Economic Development Infrastructure, the Chair, Yolanda Smith-Charles. Yeah, you're first.
Regular agenda.
Regular agenda, yes. Planning and collaboration and construction of the new public works building at Bicentennial Oaks Park.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. There is one item today on the report from the Economic Development and Infrastructure Committee. I am moving resolution 14A, planning in collaboration for construction of a new public works building at the Bicentennial Oaks Park site.
Moved by Yolanda Smith-Charles, seconded by Commissioner Lubes. Any discussion? Commissioner Spiz.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm a little perplexed. There's been discussions relative to the road commission and delaying their project that was already broke ground, yet we're coming in front of us for another building project. So I'm kind of confused on what the strategy is of the county and or the administration or this board of commissioners. You know, I would love to see a plan. I know we used to have a capital improvement plan that we followed and stuck pretty close to it. But now we're building this building, we're building that building. You got Coulter Towers down in Pontiac. I'm confused. So, you know, I would prefer to delay this a little bit so I can get a better understanding of an overall plan of the county. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Commissioner Gingill, followed by Commissioner Johnson.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just for clarity, though, because I've read this a couple times, this isn't authorizing the building or construction. The way I read this is it's including but not limited to an RFQ or RFI for construction manager. Is that accurate?
That is accurate. To get accurate cost of what a new WRC facility would be.
Which would then come back to the board.
Everything will come back to this board.
Thank you.
Every step of the process. Commissioner Johnson, followed by Commissioner Powell.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So my colleagues will see. In our agenda packets that I voted no on this project in committee, and I want to be very clear, I fully support the stated objective of consolidating operations and forwarding cost savings onto our residents. Rather, my opposition is to the idea that this project, which is the first true new build office space request since I've joined the board, my opposition is to the idea that this project will set a precedent that we are unserious about the long-term relocation of our county government back to downtown Pontiac, our county seat. That long-term goal is certainly the impression that I've been operating under, and by God, as long as I am involved in this county's affairs, that is the policy goal that I will aim to champion. Simply put, I'd like to respectfully request that along the process of planning any new office space of any unit of this county government, we consider administrative offices downtown. That's it. That's all I ask. And this isn't because I want to assist Pontiac. That was a word that was used. No, the assistance that Pontiac needs is not charity. The assistance Pontiac needs isn't the relatively minimal addition of a few hundred employees onto the Pontiac City tax roll. The assistance Pontiac needs is genuine, earnest, and sustained paradigm shifts from big employers. I'm looking at you, Oakland County. I'm looking at you, UWM. Away from the broken, expensive, bleak, and car-dependent suburban office building model that in the post-COVID world has wreaked havoc on office vacancy rates in other Oakland County cities like Southfield, like Troy, and Rochester Hills, and toward a realization that people want to work, live, and play in easily walkable, high-density communities. I wrote a lot of other impassioned things, but I'm not asking for much, folks. I'm just asking that for all future county functionaries, just think of the impact that we can have as a force multiplier on our own development in downtown Pontiac at the Phoenix Center. I'm not opposed to consolidating efficiencies. Frankly, I think that that's something we can do a lot more of and benefit from a lot more on our sprawling, unsustainable suburban campus. All I'm asking is that office space in downtown Pontiac be on the table obviously as an option, because if it's not, I really have to wonder how serious some of us were about moving to Pontiac to begin with.
Thank you, Commissioner Johnson. Commissioner Powell.
I just want to state that when we were in caucus, we specifically asked Mr. Nash because we had some unclarity on what this resolution was. Mr. Nash stated that, one, they had already tried to see if the Pontiac location of our Pontiac project would fit their departments, and two, that this resolution is only asking per what Gingell just stated and cleared up for us, and that yes, they will be bringing back all of that for our commissioners to eventually deliberate on and vote on. So I wanted to make that clarity for all of us and to make that clarity for our colleagues on the other side, but also remind our colleagues on this side that that was just said. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Anybody else? Commissioner Hoffman.
Thank you, Chairman Woodward. Is it possible, I've heard discussion about relocation of the farmer's market. Is it possible some of this property can be used for the farmer's market?
Thank you, Mr. Hoffman.
Commissioner Smith Charles is probably best suited, among some of the people here, best suited to answer.
Very on brand, sir.
Pardon?
That was very on brand, that question about farmers markets. But I really want to make sure that we keep this germane to this item, which is Water Resource Commission. Currently, Bicentennial Oaks, correct me if I'm wrong, is owned by the county proper, but been transferred to the Parks Department, park system. So if you would like, next Wednesday, our Parks Board is meeting with Chris and Ann, where they'll be talking more about that and put it to a vote about moving the farmers market.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Seeing no further discussion, Madam Clerk, please prompt the vote.
Mr. Chair, you have 15 yeas, 4 nays.
A sufficient number voting in the affirmative, the resolution is adopted.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. That concludes the report of the Economic Development Infrastructure Committee.
Thank you very much. This will move us to Finance, and I will call on the Chair of Finance, the Commissioner Gwen Markham.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Okay, first item is item 15A, sponsorship of the 2025 Southfield 9th Annual Community Cup Challenge.
Moved by Commissioner Smith Charles, seconded by Commissioner Taylor. Any discussion? Seeing no discussion, Madam Clerk, please prompt the vote.
Mr. Chair, you have 18 yeas, 1 nay.
All right.
Sufficient number voting in the affirmative.
Just for you.
Is there a technical aspect? Commissioner Smiley, did you mean to vote yes?
I did, sir. Thank you.
Okay. If that's before I call it, if we will reflect it.
Okay, let me just make it official.
Yep.
Commissioner Smiley?
Yes.
Your yes vote?
Yes.
Thank you. We will change
Commissioners,
that for you.
okay, yep. And Madam Clerk, now you can call the roll.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. You have 19 yeas, 0 nays.
Sufficient number voting in the affirmative. The sponsorship is approved. Commissioner Markham.
Okay, next up we have item 15B, establishment of standard contract and rates for real and personal property assessment administration services for Oakland County communities. I will move it.
Moved by Commissioner Markham, seconded by Commissioner Taylor. We have a few amendments that have been offered. The first of my amendment, so Commissioner Gershenson moves the Woodward Amendment number 1, seconded by Commissioner Smith Charles. Any discussion on the Woodward Amendment? Commissioner Gingell.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I guess, this is a situation, it's not easy, and a lot of times hard situations come before us, but
being on this board for many, many years and chairing it for many years, one of the things I learned over time is that when the communities come forth and start raising their hand and they're looking to be better educated, communicated, more transparency in what we're trying to do, the best result is to pause for a minute and step back to see if we can get to common ground on what we're looking to move forward. When you push things through, it generally doesn't end very well, and we've seen that in the recent past. So, you know, I know the Woodward Amendment is working to put a smoothing process in place, which is a gesture, and I appreciate that. But many of these communities that are on our assessing contracts were also or are also on our sheriff's contracts, and some of them are also on the Marine Patrol contracts, which those rates are going to get addressed tonight. So to me, this is just a piling on when we don't need to do it. Yes, we need to have a contract extension, but it has nothing to do with what rates are in that contract. We could charge nothing if we wanted to. And I get that our rates today or what we historically charge may not be what they need to be. And I appreciate Brian and his office doing the due diligence on the inputs to what the current rate should be. But there's nothing preventing us from pausing this, extending a year with existing rates, engaging the community in a better way, which I think we all committed to when we ended up with the sheriff's contract and had the same issues with communities, that they weren't educated, didn't have time, because we're repeating what we said we didn't want to do if this goes through tonight. There's no reason we can't pause, we can't extend for a year with existing contracts and get this worked out in an amicable way, hopefully, for all sides. So that's my point of view.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Spiz.
Sorry. I understand this, but I don't understand it. I understand you're trying to smooth it and make it the first year less burdensome, but you're still bringing in the same pot of money, right? Your goal is to fill that pot no matter what, to cover charges. And the last time I checked, Oakland County has a pretty good fund balance. So I'm wondering, what are we going to do with this extra money? Where's it going? Right? We're looking to bring in roughly another $10 million over these 3 years. Where are we going to put it? Right? What are we going to use it on? We're just going to create more projects, or are we actually going to give it back to the people, which I would love to see, because that's where it should go. So with that, I'd like to make a motion to postpone this until the June 11th, 2025 meeting.
Motion's been made and seconded by Commissioner Cavell. All in favor of postponement, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay.
Nay.
Nay. The nays have it.
Roll call.
Roll call's been requested. Madam Clerk, do you need a second? Or is it easier to, what's the easiest way?
Yeah, I think it's easier if I just do it verbally.
We'll do roll call by voice.
And who was the second?
Charlie.
It's a motion by Commissioner Spiz, seconded by Commissioner Cavell to postpone.
I just wasn't sure. Recognized a second. Okay. So this is a vote on the Spiz amendment to postpone. Commissioners Cavell?
Yes.
Erickson Galt? Yes. Gershenson? No. Gingell?
Yes.
Hoffman?
Yes.
Johnson?
No.
Joliet?
Yes.
Long?
Yes.
Lubes?
No.
Markham?
No.
Miller? Nelson?
Absolutely yes.
Powell?
No.
Smiley?
Yes.
Smith Charles?
No.
Spiz?
Yes.
Taylor?
No.
Whitebert? Woodward?
No.
Mr. Chair, you have 10 yeas, 9 nays.
The motion passes to postpone. Did we postpone to when?
June 11th is what I put. June 11th, I said.
I said June 11th.
2025.
June 11th, 2025.
Okay. Commissioner Markham.
I believe that concludes the report of the Finance Committee.
Okay. This moves us to Legislative Affairs and Government Operations Committee. There's one item. No.
Hi, everyone.
Hello, Commissioner Johnson.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Hi. I got one item today on the agenda from the Legislative Affairs and Government Operations Committee, and I'd like to move resolution in support of Michigan House Bill 4210. Thank you.
Moved by Commissioner Johnson, seconded by Commissioner Markham. Any discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please prompt the vote.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. It's a complicated sales tax reformulation thing. It doesn't add any new money. It just moves some money around. But it means more money for Oakland County Transit, which is good.
Mr. Chair, you have 13 yeas, 6 nays.
Sufficient number voting in the affirmative. The resolution is adopted. Commissioner Johnson.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. That concludes the report of the Legislative Affairs and Government Operations Committee. Blah, blah, blah.
Thank you, Commissioner Johnson. Commissioner Lubes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. There are 15 items under Public Health and Safety Committee. 14 of those items relate to interlocal agreements with townships or cities for Marine Patrol Services, May 1st, 2025 through December 31st, 2027. So I would like to do item 1 first and then combine the next 14 if that's okay with everybody.
I think that sounds fabulous. So
Okay.
you want to start with the first one?
The first item is use of our forfeiture funds.
Okay. The use of our forfeiture funds, moved by Commissioner Lubes, seconded by Commissioner Erickson Galt. Any discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please prompt the vote.
Charles? Woodward?
Yes.
Mr. Chair, you have 18 yeas, 1 nay.
A sufficient number voting in the affirmative. The resolution is adopted. Commissioner Lubes.
Thank you. The next items are the service agreements for Marine Patrol Services for Addison Township, Bloomfield Township, Commerce Township, Highland Township, Independence Township, Kiko Harbor, Novi, Orchard Lake Village, Orion Township, Sylvan Lake, Waterford Township, West Bloomfield Township, and White Lake.
We'll move items B through O on the agenda, moved by Commissioner Lubes, seconded by Commissioner Gingell.
No, I have a question.
Oh, I'm sorry. Seconded by Commissioner Taylor. Commissioner Spiz has his hand up first, so Commissioner Spiz followed by Commissioner
Thank you,
Gingell.
Mr. Chair. I was going to ask for a point of clarification. I would like to separate out item B and vote on that separately versus the other items for the interlocal agreements, if that's possible.
It's possible.
Any objections?
Okay, so we'll withdraw the motion by Commissioner Lubes, seconded by Commissioner Taylor. We'll withdraw the motion. Commissioner Lube moves item B, seconded by Commissioner Taylor.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I appreciate that.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I think there might be some discussion. So let's open up item B, moved by Commissioner Lube, seconded by Commissioner Taylor. Commissioner Spiz.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. I voted against this in committee, and it goes along with how I voted on the policing contracts. We continue to go out, ask for these increases in cost to all these communities, and this is just another to me, avenue where we're really pushing the limits of our CVTs by continuing to raise these costs at this rate. So I will continue to vote no on this, and I request that each of you also support voting no.
Thank you very much. Any further discussion? Seeing none, Commissioner Miller.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. As I understand, raising anything is not popular, but if we are trying to keep the standard of wages for individuals that work under these contracts, how do we do that? Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Seeing no further discussion, Madam Clerk, please prompt the vote.
Mr. Chair, you have 12 yeas, 7 nays.
The sufficient number voting in the affirmative, the resolution is adopted. And now Commissioner Lubes will move items C through O as presented in the agenda, seconded by Commissioner Gingell. Any discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please prompt the vote.
No, she hasn't sent it yet.
Mr. Chair, you have 19 yeas, 0 nays.
A sufficient number voting in the affirmative, the resolutions are adopted. Commissioner Lubes.
Thank you. That completes the report of the Public Health and Safety Committee.
Okay.
Mr.
Thank you
Chair.
very much.
Mr. Chair.
We're going to stand at ease while I consult the clerk.
What? Oh, because it's going against the police rights. I mean, my interpretation was to
In the Board of Commissioners.
Everybody listening? Nobody's listening. All right, Commissioners Cavell. Here. Thank you for listening. Erickson Galt. Gershenson. Gingell.
Here.
Hoffman.
Yes, here.
Johnson.
Here.
Joliet.
Here.
Long.
Here.
Lubes.
Here.
Markham.
Here.
Miller.
Here, sorry, I was,
Not paying attention. Nelson.
Here.
Powell. Smiley.
Here.
Smith Charles.
Present.
Spiz.
Here.
Taylor.
Here.
Whitebird.
Here.
Woodward.
Here.
You have a quorum.
All right, I need to call on Commissioner Markham of the Finance Committee to come up back to the table. Let me recant what happened, and in consultation, the motion to postpone happened under discussion on the Woodward Amendment, and the Woodward Amendment was postponed to the date you said. That brings us back to the main motion. Commissioner Gershenson makes a motion to move amendment number 1, seconded by Commissioner Markham. Any discussion on the amendment? Commissioner Cavell.
Move to postpone the full amendment until June 11th.
Support.
Support.
Motion has been made and supported.
Chair, for clarification, so that we don't repeat what just occurred, is the motion to postpone the agenda item, not the Gershenson motion? Amendment, not the Gershenson amendment? Because what's before us technically is item A with the Gershenson amendment attached to item A. So I would argue that the last time we moved to postpone, it was the item with the amendment being discussed. But I want to make sure that we're clear this time.
The motion to postpone applied to the amendment, and we did not finish handling business under there. So there's a motion by Cavell to postpone.
Postpone the full amendment of 15B.
Well, you want the full item of 15B.
The full topic of 15B. Yeah.
point of clarification.
Motion has been made and supported. Discussion on postponement, Commissioner Miller.
Discussion.
Commissioner Miller on postponement.
So when we have an agenda item up and there's an amendment, you have to vote on the amendment before you postpone the actual resolution, agenda item. You can't do both without the other, because how are you postponing an amendment to something that you haven't even voted on yet?
Thank you.
That
was my point.
The amendment needs to be addressed before we need to come to the main motion.
See, I'm not an expert in Roman rules, but I think that's BS. I would like a legal interpretation, please, because I don't believe it. Be case.
Commissioner
Maybe we
Hoffman.
should just move to adjourn.
Yeah, move to adjourn.
Okay.
All right, guys. We have a motion to postpone. I will allow the motion to postpone the entire item. No further discussion on postponing.
Wait,
Sorry.
Okay, you got,
Discussion's
you
over.
got
you're
your,
not gonna let me talk.
Clarification, Cavell moved to postpone the item of, where are we at?
B.
15B, correct?
yes.
And who seconded it? Who did you call on for second?
Spiz.
Spiz?
Second.
Okay, I just want to make sure I'm
So we're moving to postpone again.
telling everybody correctly what you're going to be voting on, and I want to make sure that we have in the minutes correctly who moved and second. Thank
Okay,
you.
we're not gonna have any discussion.
We're calling the roll.
The whole thing.
15B.
That's what the clerk read, yes.
Okay, so again, this is a motion to postpone item 15B. Do we need to have a specific time as to when? Yes, to postpone it till when?
June 11th.
Okay, I just want to, I, not arguing.
So, per Robert's rules.
Okay,
Wait, it's it's June 11th, the next board meeting.
June 11th.
okay, so I'm calling roll on the motion to postpone item 15B till June 11th. Commissioners Cavell,
Yes.
Erickson Galt,
Ooh.
Gershenson, Gingell,
Yes.
Hoffman,
Yes.
Johnson, Joliet,
Yes.
Long, Lubes. Markham.
No.
Miller. Nelson.
Yes.
Powell. Smiley. Smith Charles.
No.
Spiz.
Yes.
Taylor.
No.
Weipert. Woodward.
No.
Mr. Chair, you have 9 yeas, 9 yeas, 10 nays.
Motion to postpone fails. It brings us back to the Gershenson Amendment. Any discussion? Commissioner Spiz on the Gershenson Amendment.
I mean, I'd like to challenge the decision of the chair, because per Robert's rules, that is not proper.
Your challenge is out of order.
Excuse me? I'd like a legal opinion that you don't have.
Okay.
Legal opinion. I just pulled up Robert's rules.
Yeah.
And it says
Okay.
you
Thank
were
you,
wrong,
Mr. Spiz.
Chair.
All right. Any further discussion?
I'm sorry, just for clarification, which amendment now are you?
This is the Gershenson Amendment.
Is that,
It's the Gershenson Amendment that's logged in right now.
but is that the amendment that was
No.
before?
No, the other one was postponed.
I've never seen antics like this before in my life.
Commission,
This is bullshit.
on the commission, on the Gershenson Amendment. Commissioner Hoffman on the Gershenson Amendment.
Yes, thank you. Could you tell me what percentages these are per year, instead of just numbers?
I don't have the
I mean-
percentages in front of me. But these are the numbers and the rates that people would pay, either on the actual rate
I'm
or the
aware
smooth
of
rate.
that.
Thank you.
But it's at least 100%, and why don't we break it down to percentages?
Thank you,
know,
Commissioner
And I
Hoffman.
have to also say,
No, Commissioner
I was
Hoffman.
not confused by the last vote.
Commissioner
I'm
Hoffman,
sorry
you are out of
figured
order.
I know.
All right, so.
You were?
Oh, okay. Madam Clerk, please call the roll on the Gershenson Amendment. Prompt the vote on the Gershenson Amendment.
Yes.
This is pathetic.
Mr. Chair, you have
Brenda.
10 yeas, 9 nays.
A sufficient number voting in the affirmative, the amendment is adopted. Commissioner Spiz on your amendment.
We need a motion?
Moved by Commissioner Spiz, seconded by Commissioner Gingell.
My motion is to, for fiscal year 25, make $21 per parcel, fiscal year 26, $23 per parcel, fiscal year 27, $25 per parcel. To answer Bob's question, I can know the percentages. For 2025, it goes up 14.3%.
For 2026, it goes up another 8.5%, and 2027 goes up 8%. And for anybody that's over those numbers today, because there are a few communities that are over those numbers today, that what they're paying, they will continue to pay the higher rate until it gets caught up. And if they don't meet that number, their existing number goes up by 4% the following year.
Thank you, Commissioner. I would encourage commissioners to vote no. This is a fiscally irresponsible amendment.
I'm not sure.
Commissioner Cavell.
I just wanted to repeat what Ann said when we were in caucus, which was really cool, where you said, Ann,
Commissioner Cavell,
that
please
there's
direct your
a-
comments to me.
The cost is the cost, and there is a financial cost to doing what the county does, but there's also a human cost, the county employees, but also the services that these local communities will not be able to provide as a result of this. To help further explain, because they don't have dedicated millages for this, like they did with the law enforcement contracts, and because this is a triple-digit increase immediately. We can smooth this out over time. What the original decision is for this full resolution is making people pay 100% more in 3 years. That is unfair. We all know it. I just urge people to look inside themselves and think what their residents would think if you had to talk to them about this.
Thank you, Commissioner Cavell. Madam Clerk, please prompt the vote on the Spiz amendment.
you.
Mr. Chair, you have 8 yeas, 11 nays.
A insufficient number voting in the affirmative, the amendment fails. It brings us back to the Ginjo amendment number 1.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So my amendment number 1 is similar to the comments that I made before. There's no urgency for us to address rates. Yes, we have to address contracts expiring and extending those contracts so that we can provide services to the communities that want them. But we have flexibility on what the rates are in the contract. And as I mentioned before in my time on this board, when local communities start raising their hand, when Brenda Lawrence was the mayor of Southfield, and she asked me to not put a recycling center in her city, we pulled back and we stopped. And Pontiac wanted it and got it, Southfield didn't, and they didn't. And so there's a partnership between the county and these communities that have gone on for many, many years. And the reason why the previous administration worked hard to centralize assessing within the county is because it gave the ability to have more consistency, more fairness on how properties were assessed across the county, and it allowed us to really have a better visibility to the properties being on the tax rolls. My prediction is that by doing this, we're going to come up with unintended consequences. If this is voted through tonight, you're going to get unintended consequences of people leaving. Communities couldn't do it as easily with the sheriff's contract, but they can do it with this. And the unintended consequences is you're going to have less communities wanting this service, and you're still going to have all the same fixed costs and allocations and buildings and other things that are getting applied here. So we're going to be back soon talking about raising the rates again for those communities that want to stay with the county, and or cutting costs at the county to align to the revenue that's coming in, which ultimately is going to be people. I don't know why we can't just take a minute, step back, pause, figure out a way to work through this collectively with the communities and come up with something that we all feel good about at the end of the day. It's going to be a rate increase. It's going to be a more collective fixed rate across all communities. I talked to Brian. I think everybody knows that. We don't have to jam it through tonight, and we are jamming it through tonight.
Thank you. Commissioner Hoffman.
Thank you, Chairman Woodward. Thank you. These municipalities, as Commissioner Gingell just spoke about, they're going to leave and they're not going to come back. These are our customers. There's no way to treat our customers like this. We need to take a closer look at this. How is it that a private contractor can come and do it for half what we're proposing? And then I hear stories about, well, if that private contractor, if they have to go to the tax tribunal, they have to pay for their own appraisals and their own legal fees. That's true. But you have to do it with these new rates too. That is not included in there, even though I know you guys alluded to the fact it was included. I know for a fact it's not. These people are going to pay tons of money if they have to go on top of these double-digit 100% increases. You wouldn't like it. The problem is if we're competing with them and that's what we're doing, you're going to lose customers. They're not going to come back. If our costs are too high to do business, we need to cut our costs if you want to be competitive with them. But this is no way to treat them.
I think we are off topic from the
You know what? That's too bad.
Okay. Commissioner Markham, followed by Commissioner Smiley.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. As the chair of the Finance Committee, it's my job to make sure that we are making our budget match our expenses. And that's this whole thing. As I look back, we have these deals that have been made with some communities, but not all of them. When I looked at the first time I looked at the spreadsheet of what rates are being paid today by different communities, there is no rhyme or reason. Some of it, to me, appears like there were friendly things done years ago that have just carried through. I'm not making any accusations, but nobody, when I've asked the question, and I'm talking about people that have been around a long time, nobody can tell me how the rates that we currently have, why they're so different. Nobody can tell me that. We are trying to bring this back to where people are paying for the service that they're getting. The
Commissioner
community,
Markham, we were speaking on I just want to remind people, we're speaking on the Ginjal amendment. We've drifted off topic, but everyone did, so I kept letting you.
well, okay,
Sorry.
but what I'm saying is, there are communities today paying $44 for assessing. So this idea that we're going to lose to, cheaper assessors doesn't wash with me. On the Ginjal amendment, I'm going to vote no. And that's where I'll leave
Thank
it
you.
because that's what I'm
All right.
supposed to be speaking on.
Commissioner Ginjal, who seconded your
I
amendment?
promise this will be it.
No, Commissioner Smiley seconded the Ginjal amendment.
So Smiley's got a comment.
Oh, Commissioner Smiley also rose his hand to speak. On the amendment?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
My comment?
Yes, sir. Yes, Commissioner Smiley, the floor is yours.
Thank you. I just wanted to make the point that, the county has subsidized us for 50-plus years. I think we're just trying to consider doing it a little bit longer to help the communities adjust to this sudden shock. I think we all get that, right? That's people who are in opposition to this are trying to do. I'm not a fan of government subsidies, and I like what Commissioner Markham just said, how we got to clean this up. All I want to see is that we help these communities. They've been coming in here begging to us, pleading to us, and we're just going to ignore all that and just say, here it is tough. We're cleaning this up here now, and we're not going to help you get through this. That seems like a horrible mistake that we're going to have. It's really it's all of our communities. It's not some foreign county. It's us, and I just like to see us help them get through this.
Thank you, Commissioner Smiley. Commissioner Ginjal, do you want to speak to your amendment one last time?
I'll make it quick. It's my second time, but it is my amendment. So I guess I just want to be clear to the Chair of the Finance. I don't think anybody's disagreeing about getting the rates straightened out and all this. It's a matter of timing, communication, and fairness. And we heard from some of the folks in the southern end of the county today saying that they're already in their budget. Same with Oxford. So they're going to have to come up with money in a mid-budget session to be able to take these rates. What we could do is what I'm proposing. Extend for a year at the existing rates. Get a group to work through it by end of July or August. Those that are on a calendar year budget can adopt their budget in September, October, and be fine. Those that are on a different calendar, July to June, March to April, they have the time to do it and plan. Right now, they're not going to get that time, and we're going to jam them up, which if I'm recalling both sides of the aisle, and I won't call people out, but both sides of the aisle on the sheriff's contract said, we are not happy with the way this came down, we're not happy with the way it was communicated, we're not happy with the way that the communities were engaged, we're going to do better. This is not better. This is exactly what we did before. So did you mean we were going to do better, or did we not care? Because if we cared, we would adopt this resolution. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Commissioner Ginjal. I encourage commissioners to vote no. Madam Clerk, please prompt the vote. On the Ginjal amendment.
Mr. Chair, you have 9 yeas, 10 nays.
Insufficient number of voting in the affirmative, the amendment fails. That brings us back to the main motion. I think we've talked ad nauseum. Commissioner Spiz.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm going to make similar comments that I made in committee. Commissioner Ginjal touched on it, but this is the 4th time we've had communities and or people into this auditorium complaining. I want to use a stronger word, but I'm going to resist against using that tonight. Complaining to this board about how they've been treated. I cannot believe the amount of effort that it seems is going in to screwing our communities. This is nothing but a freaking money grab. Glenn, I hear you. Commissioner Markham, I hear you. We want to get those numbers there. But tell me when the last time this county has been hurting for money in the last 25, 30 years, right? We have yet to have a year we've been in the red. Yeah, we do budgets, and we want to line them up. You want to match your revenues and your expenses. Fully agree with that. Everybody does. But yet, to this date, I have yet to see where we've been hurting for money. So my big question is, what the hell are we going to do with this extra $10 million? Where's it going to go? Where are we putting it? We're going to put in a special project fund for the county commissioners so we can spend it on something else? Where's it going? It's going to go into this black hole, right? And go into the fund balance and sit there in the bank. So I don't understand what Commissioner Ginchel said. What's the urgency to do this? I don't get it. I don't understand what you guys are thinking. It's not logical in any way. You're just going out there and saying, boom, here's the number, take it or leave it. And if you leave it, good luck on your own. And I can guarantee you, many of these CVTs are going to leave it. Over 50%. I'll put $1 in an envelope on a bet that's what happens. And then what you do? You screwed all these employees because you did that. Because you're making this vote tonight and you have to rush it through. It does not make sense.
Thank you, Commissioner Spitz. Commissioner Cavell, followed by Commissioner Powell.
I do want to lift up what Commissioner Spitz says about this being the fourth, 4-hour-long meeting that's chaotic and messy, and people yelling at us, kind of rightly so, right? We can disagree about the nuance of it, or maybe the nurses didn't need this, or they should do more of that.
Please stay on topic.
Yep. So it being International Workers' Day, it just feels outrageously ironic that Joe Rozelle, the UAW guy, has come here for the second big meeting in a row to say, please don't do this to working people. And we're supposed to be the good guys. So I also am confused about what is happening. Whether or not my communities get screwed by this equalization thing, it is just why do we keep getting yelled at by working people if we're supposed to be here for working people? Why do the UAW people keep yelling at us if I'm wearing a UAW t-shirt being a fourth generation UAW member and you expect me to vote against these interests? I don't get it. And also, there is time to talk it out. We're not in a massive crisis where we need money tomorrow. It does not make sense. I agree with you. And I would like to see better of us.
Thank you, Commissioner. Thank you, Commissioner Cavell. Commissioner Powell.
I call for the vote.
There's a motion by Powell, seconded by Miller, to call the question. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed say nay. Nay. The ayes have it.
No, they don't.
That brings us back to the main motion. Madam Clerk, please prompt the vote.
Roll call vote. Roll call vote.
Prompt the vote on the resolution.
Roll call vote. I'd like a roll call vote, please. Mr. Chair, I'd like a roll call vote.
We've already moved on to the tally of the votes.
You got a roll call vote there.
What's the vote? The vote on the main motion. On the main motion. We are voting on the main motion. This is on the main motion.
We're voting to put it to your communities.
Yeah, there was. It was 9 to 10. Yeah. I know. I get it.
We are voting on the main motion.
The main motion.
We're voting on the main motion.
We're voting on 15B,
On
the item 15B. We
as
already did all
amended
the
with the
amendments.
Gershenson amendment.
Mr. Chair,
So Commissioner
just
Whiteford?
point of clarification. If there was a motion and a second to call the question, don't we have to do something with that motion and amendment?
We called the vote,
But don't we
the
have
ayes
to
have it.
vote on the motion to call the question? We
We
did a
did.
voice call, but there was a request from a member for a roll call
We had moved
vote.
on to the next item.
What?
We'd moved on to the next item, Commissioner Hoffman. After we moved on to the next item. After we moved on to the next item.
Wow.
Commissioner.
Hey, you either got it or you don't. Open, honest, and transparent.
I want to go home.
Right.
Mr. Chair, you have 10 yeas, 9 nays.
A sufficient number voting in the affirmative, the resolution's adopted. Commissioner Markham.
That concludes the report of the Finance Committee.
Okay, thank you very much. That will move us on to reports of special committees, none, special order business, none, unfinished business, none, new miscellaneous business. We have a few. The first item, you might need to refresh. This is part of the conversation about creating a group working with our cities and townships and, where is it? It's in here. Sorry. Under new might need to refresh. This is establish the review of equalization assessment levels, REAL. It should not be an ad hoc committee, it's a study group. It says study group?
Does that have to be referred to a committee?
We're going to create the committee, as we discussed in the Democratic caucus, that cities and township leaders and equalization and commissioners and the executive office can meet and explore other ways to stretch out the cost long-term, making it more affordable. This was a conversation. It is not new. We have talked at it ad nauseum.
I didn't see it on here.
1 second.
Is it on here somewhere?
Commissioner Johnson.
I move to suspend the rules for immediate consideration of this resolution.
Right. I just want to make sure, 1 second, we're creating a special committee that gives a little bit more flexibility to work with people. So it's not an ad hoc committee. It's a study group. Oh, okay. Maybe I need to refresh. Hey, just a second. Michael, come here for a second.
I'm asking you. I haven't talked to him.
Where's it at? I refreshed and I don't have it.
Lipstick on a pig and
Where did we put it?
Unless you're going to change the contract.
Oh, it's a study group. Okay, I just like that little summary stuff. Okay.
Oh, okay. I want to be on that committee.
Okay, so just so that everyone knows, there's a motion by Commissioner Johnson to suspend the rules to take up the item. It's not an ad hoc committee, it is a study group per all the appointments. Moved by Johnson, seconded by Miller to suspend the rules.
I have a question.
A question,
I have
yes.
a question as well. I'm confused as to, we just passed the resolution for a 3-year contract. So what could this study group possibly do to undo that those 3-year contract rates?
The intent is not to undo, and those who have participated in finance heard the feedback that wanted an opportunity over a contracted period of time to look at potentially extending contracts, looking at cost efficiencies, having further ability to dig deep into what the rates are. And so that is the intent of the study committee. And if there are recommendations that we can make work to bring that back to consider. Communities have an ability to end the contract early. It's our standard language. We allow people to break contracts. And so if it's not resolved in a way working with our local communities, communities are free to end the contract.
So that, in essence, this will be a venue for them to be heard.
We're going to continue hearing from them, yes. That's the point. And it will be made up of township, city, county, and others. And I know the Democratic caucus taught at length about creating the space, and this is the process to do that. On suspending the rules, Commissioner Hoffman.
Is this about just suspending the rules? I thought.
Can we suspend the rules then?
It's not on the item yet.
You're on suspension.
There's a motion to suspend the rules to take up the item immediately. Okay, all in favor of suspending the rules, say aye.
I have a question, Chairman.
Commissioner Nelson.
Thank you.
Sorry.
So hearing you talk, you're interchanging, you're saying study
It's a study
committee,
group.
but so I want to get some clarification on that because
Study committee, study group, yes.
So it's a study group,
Yes.
right? So with a study group, it doesn't have to abide by open meetings. It's essentially just a study group. There's no permanent record. There's nothing that's open and available and posted to the public. So I would like to suggest that I think an ad hoc committee, which you initially had said that it was going to be at the beginning of this, I think.
No, we always said it was going to be a study group.
I think it should be an ad hoc committee because that's an open and transparent way to go about this, rather than having it be done by closed doors, behind the scenes, with no record of anything being done or said. I don't think that's appropriate.
Any recommendations will come back
for
before the
this
full
matter.
board. All right, all in favor of suspending the rules, say aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay. Nay. The ayes have it.
Roll call.
Can we get a roll call vote on suspending the rules?
That's not,
Commissioner Cavell, you are out of order. You can do it by name. Just do it by voice. To take up, so it's a motion to suspend the rules to take up the creation of the study group.
Okay, so on suspension of the rules, Commissioners Cavell.
No, I would like an ad hoc.
Erickson Galt.
Yes.
Gershenson.
Yes.
Gingell.
No.
Hoffman.
no.
Johnson.
Yes.
Joliet.
No.
Long.
No.
Lubes. Markham. Miller.
Yes.
Nelson.
No.
Powell. Smiley.
No.
Smith Charles.
Yes.
Spiz.
No.
Taylor.
Yes.
Whitebert.
No.
Woodward.
Yes.
Mr. Chair, you have 10 yeas, 9 nays.
Okay. The question is before us, moved by Commissioner Johnson, seconded by Commissioner Lubes, to create the study group to continue to work on this. Commissioner Gingell.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I think the idea of getting community engagement and involvement's good. I had it in my amendment actually, but the difference is I was trying to get the engagement and involvement before we adopted rates. We've now adopted rates that essentially, unless we're going to be willing to change them, they're set for 3 years. So I don't know what the study group input would do unless we're just like putting lipstick on the pig here. We just jammed them up, and now we're going to say, hey, come talk to us about what you think. It doesn't make, I just don't see the sequence.
Commissioner Hoffman, followed by Commissioner Smith-Charles.
Thank you, Chairman Woodward. I agree 100% that I think you put the cart before the horse a little early on. Now you want to create this committee as some kind of dog and pony show. I can tell you for certain, we talk about unintended consequences, and I think one of them is those people who represent some of these districts that are going to get 100 or 150% increase in their assessment. I think they're going to have a hard time selling it to their constituents and the leadership in those communities. I think it's a terrible mistake, and I think we're going about this all wrong. And I'm embarrassed the way this whole thing's been conducted. Because you've made up your mind, you've got, hustled your votes, and this is a shame.
Thank you, Commissioner Hoffman. Commissioner Smith-Charles.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I couldn't pull up my Roberts fast enough, so I don't know if it's table or postpone indefinitely this entire ad hoc, whatever it is.
So
Study group.
Before you make that motion, so the reason this committee is being created is because of what we heard, and those who were in finance heard it. So I would like us to see if we could just vote to create it so we can follow through on a commitment that we said we would do it. So can you hold on that for a second on postponing? Okay, thank you. I'll come back to you. Commissioner Nelson.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Creating a closed-door study group now is being reactive, and I have to disagree with what you just said, because if we truly, we've been here now 4 different times in less than 8 months. If we really cared about what the feedback was, because the feedback has been the same. We are not being collaborative with our community leaders.
Speak to the motion, Commissioner Nelson.
So I think that I believe in community engagement. I believe in bringing in leaders to the table and having a discussion, but this is a a reactive measure instead of being proactive. So if you stood by what you were saying, you would have put this group together, I don't know, back in last October in 2024.
Okay. Thank you, Commissioner. All right, let's just do the vote. Madam Clerk, please prompt the vote.
Mr. Chair, you have 9 yeas, 10 nays.
So we're not going to establish the
All right. Does anyone want to reconsider their vote in which it failed? No, it should be a yeah.
You don't know what you're voting
Commissioner
for?
Smith
You're
Charles.
already- Oh, my goodness.
Okay. The vote failed. Commissioner Smith Charles.
Oh, we're done with that?
Well, no, wait. Have we tallied the vote yet?
Yeah, we have. Yes, I already called it.
She already called the vote. Okay. Okay.
Commissioner.
Commissioner Smith Charles.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. Again, I mean, I'm amenable to changing my vote to a yes for this silly, this committee on principle. But if the townships and CVTs and what have you feel compelled to need it, then okay. So
It was requested.
Well, it was requested ahead.
It was requested
No,
before
no.
the rates were
Anyway, I will expeditiously just say that I meant to put yes.
Okay, so Commissioner Smith Charles reconsiders the vote. Is there a second to reconsider the vote in which it failed? Yeah, you can vote. Yeah. Moved by Commissioner Smith Charles to reconsider the vote, seconded by Miller. All in favor of reconsidering the vote, say aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay. Nay. The ayes have it. Brings the question. All right. Madam Clerk, can you please call the roll on reconsideration?
Yep.
Can you explain that before you talk, clerk, because I want to know what you're saying?
This
So the
is,
motion-
it's how you just voted by voice.
The
So,
motion is to reconsider so that you would be voting again. If you vote yes, then you're saying you want to vote again on
reconsideration.
well, no, to say yes on reconsideration means you want to vote again on what just failed 9 to 10. Okay. Does that make sense? So if
Okay.
you say yes, then if a majority say yes to reconsider, then then the vote will come up again on creating the study group. Okay, so.
Then you're a no.
Then you would vote no. All right, does everybody understand? Yes. Somewhat? Okay. All right, so on the motion to reconsider, Commissioners Cavell,
No. No.
Erickson Galt. Gershenson.
Yes.
Gingell.
No.
Hoffman.
No.
Johnson.
Yes.
Joliet.
No.
Long.
No.
Lubes.
Yes.
Markham.
Yes.
Miller.
Yes.
Nelson.
No.
Powell.
Yes.
Smiley.
No.
Smith Charles.
Yes.
Spiz.
No.
Taylor.
Yes.
Weipert. Woodward.
Yes.
Mr. Chair, you have 10 yeas, 9 nays.
The question is before us. Madam Clerk, please prompt the vote again. Do we need you need to make a new page?
Yeah, hang on a second, 'cause I'm not sure how to.
How about we just do it by voice vote?
Yeah.
Okay. We'll just do it by voice vote so we don't have to
Thank you.
play with that. Okay, so the motion before us, moved by Gershenson, seconded by Markham, is to create this study group as described. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Okay, is everybody clear on what you're voting on again? Yes, okay. Commissioners Cavell.
No.
Erickson Galt. Gershenson.
Yes.
Gingell.
Nope.
Hoffman.
No.
Johnson.
Yes.
Joliet.
No.
Long.
No.
Lubes.
Yes.
Markham.
Yes.
Miller.
Yes.
Nelson.
No.
Powell. Smiley. Smith Charles.
Yes.
Spiz.
No.
Taylor.
Yes.
Whitebird. Woodward.
Yes.
Mr. Chair, you have 10 yeas, 9 nays.
The study group is created. This will move us to, we have other new and miscellaneous business, and so I will call on Commissioner Weipert on the next item.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I have 3 items. First one is 2025 miscellaneous resolution 5183, special commissioner funding for a special event in the Lyon Township DDA appreciation. Ask that be referred to finance.
Referred without objection. Next, Commissioner Weipert.
Second one is miscellaneous resolution 5274, sponsorship by the Board of Commissioners in Milford Memories. Ask that be referred to finance.
Referred without objection. Commissioner Weipert.
Thank you. The third one is coming up this in a month. It is miscellaneous resolution 2025-5292, the Kite Festival in Lyon Township. Ask that be referred to finance.
Referred without objection.
Thank you.
Next up, Commissioner Long.
Thank you. Do I have to say the numbers, or can I just say sponsorship?
You can just rate the sponsorship.
Okay, thank you. I have 2, sponsorship of Commerce Township Bicentennial Celebration, referral to finance.
Without objection, Commissioner Long.
And then sponsorship of Charter Township of Commerce Concert in the Park Series, refer to finance.
Referred without objection. Commissioner
Thank you.
Smith Charles.
Yes, item
You can just say the sponsorship. You don't.
sponsorship of Lathrop Village Music Festival is my request to go to finance.
Referred to finance without objection. Commissioner Loops.
I'd like sponsorship of the City of Boston's 4th of July parade.
Referred to finance without objection. Commissioner Powell.
Sponsorship of the 2025 Meals on Wheels Foundation Moving Streets and referred to finance.
Referred without objection. Commissioner Cavell.
I'd like to submit for Lago Committee updating and improving our 35-year-old ethics policy.
Referred without objection to Lago. Commissioner Hoffman.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This is urging the governor of the state of Michigan to grant a pardon to Mario Willis. Refer to Lago, please.
Referred to Lago without objection.
County exec too.
You can do that.
We'll change the rules.
Referred to Lago without objection. And Commissioner Nelson.
I'd like to introduce miscellaneous resolution establishing financial disclosure obligations for county elected and appointed officials to align with Michigan's Public Officers Financial Disclosure Act, and I'd like to refer it to the Legislative Affairs and Government Operations Committee.
Referred without objection. That will move us to announcements. Any announcements? Commissioner Spiz, followed by Commissioner Cavell.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I have more of a request to the Democratic caucus. We have yet to start a meeting on time in the last couple of years. I shouldn't say yet. We've done it, I think, 1 or 2 times. Less than 10% of the meetings we have are on time.
This is an announcement. This is not a conversation.
I know. But
All right, well, what's your announcement?
What I'm asking the Democratic caucus, if you can't get your stuff done in an hour,
this is
extend
not
it
an
to
open
2 hours.
forum.
Extend your meetings to 2 hours. You got the audience waiting here.
Thank you,
to have a
Commissioner
damn
Spiz.
meeting
You're
at
out of
6
order.
o'clock, and
Commissioner
we're yet to start on
Cavell.
time.
Commissioner Cavell.
Mike, I know we've been doing it tonight real good, but as someone who's perennial late, I'm gonna back Dave up. But also, I kind of already said it, but today's International Workers' Day, so we should be conscious of that and appreciate and thank all the people that have to work when we don't have to, because it's because of them that we get to do the things we like.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Powell.
I would like to remind commissioners, do not forget to submit your senior person for acknowledgement on May 22nd, and the deadline is May 14th. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Powell. Any further announcements? Seeing no further announcements, we will adjourn to May 22nd, 2025, or call the chair.